All right, Rabbi, say good morning. Let us begin, or let us continue in Meretz Hashem. We are continuing today in Os Mentes. So if you remember again, we began yesterday this, we began a number of days ago. I think this is already our sixth shir on Os Mentes. So remember again, the Rebbe yesterday quoted the Gemara Masechah Shabbos, where he quoted the exchange between certain Amoraim, where one Amora would ask another, Avucha b'mai zohir tfei. What is it that your father was exceptionally careful with? Right? So they wanted to know, what is it that your father was particularly meticulous with? And again, the Gemara was using this idea to highlight this concept that often we find ourselves drawn to certain mitzvahs. Certain mitzvahs speak to us more than others. Now the Rebbe goes on, he says, this is incredible. Page Kuf Yud Zayin, in the Be'uriya Chasidus, the left-hand column. Al inyan kazeh amru chazal b'Gemara, ein adam omer al divrei Torah, ela imkein nichsha. I will say this is a truly beautiful piece. Chazal say that a person cannot, literally translated, cannot truly be successful in Torah unless, of course, he fails. Like, the prerequisite to success in life is failure. Now, of course, on a basic level, what that could tell us is that really you can't realize success in life without first undergoing failure. That's for sure. In other words, that at the end of the day, in order to taste the sweet waters of success, you must first be willing to undergo failure. But the Rebbe understands this in a more profound way. He says, Shein adam omeid al amisasan ad shi kasha bahen lahoros taos v'yachlimuhu v'hu nosin leiv umevin. So the Rebbe quotes Rashi, and Rashi quotes, what does this mean? That a person doesn't truly understand the truth of something until he makes a mistake, and he's embarrassed with his mistake. He pays attention and he understands. So we'll say, so again, according to Rashi says you can't really, essentially, in Adam Omer al Divrei Torah means a person can't really reach a level of understanding until he has first failed, because it's only through failure that he truly is attentive to his actions. But here I will say, look what the Rebbe does with this. The deeper meaning of this is, Sha'al Yedei, thank you, Sha'al Yedei hamachshela, it is only through the missteps, only through the mistakes, he says, Kilomar, Ayedei chulshas nafsho, shegarma lo lihikashlo be'eze inyan Torah. It is only through my personal weakness, which often causes me to stumble in certain inyanim of Torah, humevin v'lamid mikach shalakach notzar letakin oso davar shenichshal bo. I will say this is it's really absolutely overwhelming. The Rebbe says that when I struggle and I fail at something, so this is what we mentioned before, I realize the very purpose for which I was created. Why was I put in this world? I was put in this world to fix something. I was put in this world to fix myself. Sometimes, if I'm privileged, I'm put in this world to fix the world. But how do I know what it is about myself that I am supposed to fix? To which the Rebbe explains so beautifully. That is what we started with. That which you struggle with most in life, that is what I was put in this world to fix. I might struggle with a variety of things, but there are usually one or two things which are the central struggles of my existence. That is the purpose of my creation. That is the purpose for which I was created. So the Rebbe now says something, but it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. It goes a step further. He says, so my entire purpose, so understand what this means? We spend so much time trying to go ahead and figure out what is our purpose in this world. What is my purpose in this world? And the Rebbe says, you want to know what your purpose in this world is? To fix the thing with which you struggle with most. That is my purpose. That's my tikkun. But I will say, but here's the clincher, because do you remember again, the Rebbe said in the beginning of Os Mentes that sometimes it's through your averas that you begin to recognize and realize your strengths. And we saw, I understand this statement that he just made. In other words, that I'm put in this world to fix the very thing which I struggle with most. I understand that's my avoda, that's my tikkun, that's my tachlis. But what does it mean that through my sin I come to discover my greatest strength? So we'll say, watch this. Because after I fix the thing that I struggle with most, my greatest strength comes through that very thing. Or as well say, let me explain for just a moment. Let's say a person struggles with, I don't know, struggles with shmiras einayim, right? Being careful with what a person looks at, which is an overwhelming struggle in today's day and age. So let's say I struggle with that, making sure that I keep purity of thought, purity of my eyes. So we'll say, so it could very well be that if that's my struggle, that's the very reason I was put in this world. So now when I find the strength to go ahead and overcome that struggle, not only have I been mitaki, not only have I fixed something in myself, but that becomes my very strength. You know what my strength is? My strength is shmiras einayim. My strength is restraint. My strength is self-control. So what starts as my greatest area of weakness, when I find the courage and I find the strength to overcome it, that's my tikkun. And from my tikkun, it becomes my very strength. The thing that started as my weakness, when I overcome it and demonstrate an incredible amount of mastery, personalistic self-control, and personal strength, that becomes my greatest strength. In other words, it's not just the pshat that when I overcome my weakness, the weakness is neutralized and now I'm like parif. You know, I'm kind of like back at baseline. When I overcome the avera and I'm attacking the avera, I'm attacking the weakness, that becomes my greatest strength. And therefore the Rebbe says that's why it's through our averas. So what becomes fascinating is as follows, that when I know that I constantly struggle in a certain area of life over and over and over. So first of all, the good news is now I know why I'm here, which is good news. I know why I'm here. I'm here to combat that thing. And I also know where my greatest strength is. We're both say, isn't it an irony? So let's just go with the shmiras einayim idea. I don't have good self-control with what I look at. So the Rebbe says, okay, that's my weakness. That's why I'm here. And I will say, remember, every struggle also is never just about the avera. Often the struggle is about, a lot of other things as well. So like if I'll just keep using the same example, if I struggle with shmiras einayim, watching what I'm looking at, so both say that's an issue of self-control. But you can say that about every avera, right? Every avera is an issue of self-control. It's also an issue sometimes of like escapism. Maybe I'm just not happy with my life. And so I'm just kind of looking for an out, from whatever current circumstances are not so great. But either way, says the Rebbe, so that's my avera, that's my weakness. I know what I have to be metaken. But then what it shows me is that my greatest strength is the ability to exhibit self-restraint. That my greatest strength is the ability to exhibit self-control. So from the weakness, from the avera, I learn what my tikkun is, what my purpose, what my mission is, and I learn what my greatest strength is. That, says the Rebbe, is the power of chet. And therefore it turns out that every avera, and especially the ones that we struggle with, there are different averas, right? There's, sometimes I'm just, an episodic offender, right? Or just whatever. We all have our moments of weakness, but and then I could be a habitual offender, right? Or I have a chronic issue with this one thing. It's been with me for years. I just can't shake it. That's my avoda. That's the reason I'm here. That's the tachlis for my entire existence. And yet once I overcome that avera, that will become my greatest life strength. That midah that I need in order to overcome that avera, or that midah which is the antithesis of that avera, that becomes my greatest life strength. All right, so we'll stop over here for today. We're still not finished. Emir Tashem, we're going to see an incredible and beautiful, actually tomorrow's Rosh Chodesh, right? Okay, so we'll see on Monday in Meretz Hashem an incredible and dramatic example of this. He's going to show with King Achaz and King Chizkiyahu, a father and son who were polar opposites as an expression or as an example of this particular concept. We'll stop here.